Today we're going to cover the hardware that's involved in cutting the cord. That's a popular topic these days of people getting rid of their TV services like Dish Network, DirecTV, and even cable companies. We would like to show you the alternative. There's a lot of videos out there that are giving you options of services like Sling, DirecTV Now, Hulu Live, those type of services. They're out there to be had, but what I want to do is cover the hardware that's involved. Since we do custom installations, I want to go over what's involved in the hardware that you're needed. So, welcome to Tech 5. A lot of times in a diagram like this or in a setup like this, if you have a surround sound system, this happens to be for those that have a surround sound system, you will typically have these boxes or a mix of these boxes hooked up to an audio video receiver. This is your AV receiver, okay? And it is hooked up to your television to give you picture, and of course it's hooked up to the speakers to give you sound. This is the item that is the topic of today is your cable box or your satellite box, where traditionally this item is hooked up to a satellite dish or the cable box is hooked up to the cable service that you're used to. This item is going to now change to being a set-top box. Very, very simple item to get from, we've got distributors that we get them from. You can, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can get it from Amazon, but we would put an antenna in the attic. We'll kind of go back like a blast from the past, kind of what our parents used to deal with. An antenna in the attic, and this is what's called an off-air HD tuner, okay? And what that does, this takes care of, believe it or not, I've been very pleasantly surprised, especially in our market. I've picked up about 27 channels. A lot of our networks have sub-channels like the CW and some other, I know there's some Telemundo, that's going to be some of the Spanish-speaking channels, but they're all for free. This item typically costs you about $50. A good antenna you should spend between 80 and 100 bucks, depending on your rural area. If you're a city or in a rural area, an antenna should cost you about that much. And then of course, if you're not doing it yourself, you should probably plan for some installation time. And if you do have a surround sound system like this, you should probably plan on getting the remote control reprogrammed as well. So this pretty much covers the hardware. As you can see, there is the off-air tuner box as well as these streaming boxes. These get a little confusing. A lot of times whenever we've mentioned an Apple TV, some of our clients have mistakenly thought we're actually talking about a television, but we're talking about these three streaming boxes, or the ones that we're familiar with, is an Apple TV. If you are an Apple user, I would recommend Apple TV. You can take advantage of a lot of the iTunes available to you in your cloud, and it does have all the services. Amazon Prime, Hulu, Vudu, Netflix, all of those services that we're using today. Roku has a very, very nice interface. And then Amazon, you hear this in a version of like a Fire Stick or an Amazon Fire. Those all hook up to the receiver via an HDMI cable. Okay, all of these connections are HDMIs. Also, the one that's going out to the TV is an HDMI cable as well. But this will allow you to save some money on your bill monthly. You're cutting your television service. You're still going to gain back your local channels with the antenna and this off-air tuner. And then these streaming devices are going to be what you can select services like Sling, DirecTV Now to get those sporting events and other live services and being able to stream. Keep in mind that if you do cut the cable company out of the mix and they are your internet service provider, your bill will likely change. Does a television, internet, and telephone, those have been bundled together, so whenever you do take away the internet part of it, they're going to probably raise your bill. Anyway, this is Pedro signing off. Talk to you next week.